Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is my December reading wrap up. So I know it is already January, but I'm doing my December reading wrap up and my January TBR separate videos, but they should be coming out like pretty much like back to back, so that I'm not too far behind with the videos. But I read I think 5 books this month, which helped me get over my reading goal of 55 books, and I got to 60 books, which was very exciting because I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous at first when I started at the beginning of 2024 when I stated that I was going to try to read 55 like on the Goodreads app. I was like, I barely made it to 50 last like in 2023. And so I was like, I don't know if I can do 55. And then this year I was like trying to get to 60 because I wanted to get to that like, more whole number than like 58 or 59. So I'm very happy that I was able to do that. But these are the 5 books that I read in December. 3 of them, I have the physical copy of. 2 of them I do not, so they'll just be wherever I put them on the screen. But yeah, that's what today's video is, and I hope that you guys enjoy, and let's get into the video. Okay, so the first book that I read was Jumpstart by Kayla James. So this was an ARC that I received from Love Notes PR. Yeah, here it is. This is the first book. This is Lights Out, which I read March, I want to say, of 2024. And then Jumpstart came out in December, but I read it as an ARC because I read it before it came out in December. And I was a little hesitant because I only rated this one a 4 stars. I mean, not that 4 stars are bad, just I was really expecting to like this one and I only rated it 4 stars, so I was a little nervous to go into Jumpstart. But I wanted to give her like a second chance. Not that, again, not that 4 stars is bad, just sometimes if it's a first book and it's only a 4 stars, sometimes it makes me a little hesitant to go in, because I'm not as like intense about my ratings as like other people are. But I ended up rating Jumpstart a 4.25. It was definitely like better. It wasn't like that much better, but it was definitely better. There were certain parts of the plot that I really liked and certain parts that I didn't. It was also a little predictable at one part, but I do like the fact that it is technically a second chance kind of romance, but like in a different way than what you would expect usually when you pick up a second chance romance. Usually it's like, oh, we either were together and then something happened, like we broke up and then we come back years later or something like that. It wasn't that, and so I thought that it was very interesting that not only did we have a second chance romance, but it was like a very different plot line than usually second chance romances are. So I definitely liked that aspect of it. Yeah, I am probably still going to continue reading this series as the books come out. This one definitely was better. And yeah, that was the first book that I ended up finishing in December. The next book that I read in December was The Kingmaker by Kennedy Ryan. If you guys are not familiar with previous videos of mine, I read the Hoops trilogy by Kennedy Ryan as well in 2024, and I absolutely adored that, and I love her writing, so I was very excited to pick up another book by her. I got the Grip trilogy for Christmas, which I'm very excited to read that one. But the thing about this book was I gave it a 3 stars. I liked parts of it and I really didn't like other parts of it. I liked the 2 characters and I liked the plot line, the fact that it was very different than most books that you read, like Lennox, I think is her name. Yeah, like you meet her and she's protesting a pipeline that's being put into her community, and the guy is like the bad guy. Like, okay, the guy is not the bad guy. The guy, his father is like the bad guy because he's the guy that's putting the pipeline in, and like, so like you kind of have that, like he has a secret like from the beginning, but also he's like in his 20s and she's 17 when they meet, and he's kind of already like, yeah, she's really pretty, like what do you mean she's 17? Oh no, like I can't do that. And then they meet again like years later and she's now an adult, but he's also like even more of an adult. And like, I don't know, I'm very picky on age gaps, especially when age gaps start when they're technically minors. It gets very, it's a very sticky situation. Obviously nothing happens between the 2 of them until they are both adults. But it was just, like I said, they're very hard for me. I get very like, I don't know if I like that. It was the same thing with Reich and Daisy and the Addicted Cowboy Sister series. I love Reich and Daisy, but it was also at the beginning a little difficult for me to be like, oh. But I also knew that it was like like Reich literally was like, no, I'm not going, like, no, nothing is happening between the two of us. And even when she was an adult, like, it took a minute for him to be able to like accept that. And so I don't know, this one just was giving me that same vibe. I was like, I don't know. But then it was just lots of lies, and Lennox was getting on my nerves a bit because he like apologized for why he lied, and she like got it, but she was still like, but you still lied to me. And I feel like it's one of those things where if the character isn't that sounds so bad. If the character isn't just gonna forgive you, then we're just gonna have like this much of the book where we're just constantly going back and forth of anger about this whole lie, and that just gets boring. So I'm on a very teeter-totter, let's say, of if I continue this series, if I don't. I'm pretty sure there's one more book, two more books. I know that there's at least one more book. I don't know if there is a novella after it or if there's another book. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm at a toss-up. I don't know what I want to do. So I am keeping it for now as well. I unhauled a bunch of books, but this one I am keeping for now because I'm still stuck with what I'm going to do. I'm not sure. But this one is a 3 stars. I almost DNF'd it at one point, but I wanted to keep going. So this one was not necessarily it for me from Kennedy Ryan. But I would say if you did read this one and had similar feelings, still try other books by Kennedy Ryan, because I literally loved the Hoops trilogy. So clearly it was less Kennedy Ryan and her writing and more just like this plotline maybe wasn't for me. So okay, then I read My December Darling by Lauren Asher. So this was her little Christmas novella that she put out. It's set in the Lake Wisteria setting that the Lakefront Billionaire series is set in. You didn't have to read Love Unwritten and Love Redesigned before this. Like technically I obviously did, but you didn't have to. So you have Catalina and Luke. Those are the 2 main characters. Because it's technically a novella, even though it is like generally a pretty long book, it's like, yeah, 230 pages, so like you still are getting like some development going on. I'm still not rating it as like aggressively as like a full-on like Lauren Asher book, but I definitely would rate it 4 stars. It was super cute. I loved the 2 characters together. Honestly, I would have been happy with like a full book and not just a novella, but I'm totally fine with it being a novella. I'm not saying that like it was a bad thing it was a novella. I'm just saying like if she would have decided to make it a full book, I wouldn't have complained. I love this cover. I think it is adorable, and I love all the little like hints to things in the book, like the Legos and the gingerbread house and everything. And I just loved the 2 characters together, and I loved Catalina's like little like inner thoughts throughout the book. They were very relatable and very funny. But yeah, it was a very fun, easy read. Like there wasn't a whole lot of like intense like sad emotion or anger. It was supposed to be more of a happy, easy read, which I was very happy to have, especially after finishing, you know, school for the year and my semester and everything. It was just like, yay, happy fun times. That is what I needed. So I gave this a 4 stars, and this was the 3rd book that I read in December. Okay, so the next book that I read was The Witch's Blade by A.K. Mulford. So I do not have a physical copy of this yet. I did read the first book, The High Mountain Court, in October? Maybe November. It was October or November. It was very recent. I just, of course, can't remember, even though it was very recent. But I rated this one a 4 stars. I thought that it was good. I think I liked the first one better. I liked Remy was the character, like the narrator kind of, you know, the point of view of the first book. And I really liked Remy, and I liked her story and all of that. And I liked all the characters within Remy's story. Rua, however, which is the character who is the point of view of the second book, I like her, but I also extremely dislike her, which I think is partially how you're supposed to feel. She's just very, like, and it's not her fault, like, the way she grew up because of what happens, which I can't really say because it's kind of a spoiler. But let's just say she grew up separated from family and people, so she doesn't have a whole lot of, like, experience that, like, Remy had. Even though Remy also grew up away from family, there were at least people that became family for Remy. Rua didn't really have that, so there is at least an explanation for why she is the way she is, but that doesn't mean that I still didn't necessarily dislike her for a lot of the book. but she grew on me, and like generally the plot line I found interesting, and like I think what's cool about these books is it seems like every book gets a new point of view of like a different character that you already have met. Um, but there's still this like one plot line that is continuing through all of them. So you do get a switch, but it's not like a full on like total plot line switch, which I think is very interesting and nice. Because usually in fantasy series, it's like the same person throughout the whole thing because there's the same plot line, it's just following them. So I think that's very cool. But I did really like, probably it was like 60%, 50% of the book. And then on the last like 50 to 60% of the book was much better than the first 40% to 50% of the book. I just think things got like better per se. But yeah, I definitely still enjoyed it, and I am excited to read the third one. But I definitely think I liked the first one better. But that doesn't mean the second one was bad. Just I think I enjoyed the first one better. But that was the next book that I read in December. The next book that I read was The Fae Princes by Nikki St. Crow. So this is the fourth book in the Vicious Lost Boys series, I think is what it's called. I might say it on here. Maybe it says it in the beginning. Yes, The Vicious Lost Boys. So it's a 4-book series. They're all very short like this, which makes it very difficult to rate them because I feel like it's not fair for me to rate them as intensely as I would rate, for example, like any of these books, because like they're just longer and have more ability to build up their plot. But at the same time, you could have made it longer. You're not calling these novellas. So I get a little confused on how I'm going to rate them. So I did give this one a 3 stars because I'm just kind of indecisive if I want it to be a 2.5 or a 3, but it wasn't very good. I'm going to be honest with you all. The smut throughout all the 4 books are great. The smut is fantabulous, but the plot line is not really there. I feel like there is a plot line so that there can be the smut, which again, I'm not complaining. If that is something you're looking for, if you just want to read some nice smut, have at it. Like, that is totally fine. And I have been in a mood before where I'm just like, I'm not really feeling like getting into like a deep plot line. I just want some like really like simple read. I can technically count it towards my reading goal, but I just need like an easy read. This series would be great for that. But I just needed to finish it. That's why I read it in December, because I had read the other 3. But I will say, and I saw someone on Goodreads when I was looking through like the reviews and stuff, someone said this, and I like completely agree. They felt like it was kind of a bridge book, because there is another series that you find out at the end of this book that she is coming out with, which I think she's already came out with. But it does very much feel like the first maybe 10% is like the wrap up of this series, and then like the rest of it is basically trying to promote the next book and get you to be like, oh, well, now I need to know what happens, which is fine. But since I'm not planning on reading any more books by her, at least not yet, I was kind of like, this was a waste of my time. So yeah, I'm still indecisive of if I'm giving it a 2.5 or a 3. Probably should give it a 2.5 because like the Kingmaker was better than this, and I feel like they can't be the same. I don't know, guys. It just wasn't the best thing I've ever read. But again, if you're looking for just some serious smut, this series I would highly recommend. It's got some great smut in it. However, if you don't like kind of like why choose-ish smut, maybe don't read this, because it's very much like, I'm not picking. I'm getting the whole thing. I'm not picking. Which, I mean, good for her. Go her. But if that's not something that you are interested in, then maybe don't read it. But yeah, I don't know. I was a little disappointed. I was hoping for a bit of a better wrap up, but that's okay. You know, things happen. Okay, I was wrong. When I was counting earlier in my head, I counted 5 books, but we have 6. I don't know which one I forgot to count, but I forgot to count something. But the last book that I read was Breakaway by Grace Riley. So I read First Down February? No, that was March. I do think I read that one in March. I'm a little bit more confident on that. And I enjoyed it. It was a good book. I think I rated it about 4 stars, maybe 4.25. There was nothing inherently wrong with it, but there wasn't anything like super special about it for me. So it was a good book. I would recommend it to other people. I don't know if I'd reread it, but it was good. But I was looking forward to Breakaway because it is the hockey romance, and you guys know I love hockey romances, but it was also Coach's daughter, which is always fun because you're kind of like, oh, you guys are not supposed to be together. What are you doing? But also like, why can't they be together? But whatever. And I did really like how Grace Riley did it this time with the whole like Coach's daughter thing, because I feel like usually it's like, oh, we know that I'm Coach's daughter, but we end up being like, oh, but I like you. And it was like they kind of hooked up and then found that out. And it was like, oh, what? So I don't know. I thought that was kind of an interesting twist to it. And I liked both characters. I thought they were fun reads. I also loved the cat that comes around. His name is Tangerine. He is adorable. I love cats, and I love when these quote unquote bigger burly men are like having these little kittens that they're caring for like their own children. I'm like, yes, see, even quote unquote big strong men can have their emotions and everything. But yeah, I had a really fun time with it. I think I rated it a 4.25, 4.5. I think I rated it a 4.25 if I remember correctly. I would say it's definitely better than First Down, but again, still like there was nothing that was like extremely different that it was like I don't know. I didn't get the 5-star feeling, and it wasn't anything, like I said, that was such an extreme emotional connection. However, you do get to meet, well, not that you didn't already meet them, but like you get more of an introduction to the other two siblings, Seb and Izzy, who are the third and fourth book are about them. So I'm excited to continue the series. I know that, sorry, I have hair stuck in my earring. I know the third book is Seb's book, and I'm pretty sure his is baseball. And then I know that Izzy's is the fourth book, and she is a volleyball player, and I was a volleyball player, so I'm very excited because there's not very many volleyball romances out there. So I feel like that one will automatically be my favorite. I'm already predicting it, but I'm very excited, and I am supposed to have special editions of these books coming in at some point, but they have not come in yet, and I don't know where they are, and I'm getting a little nervous, but I'm hoping that they'll come in soon. But yeah, that was the last book that I read in December. Okay guys, that was my video for today. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and if you did, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I will hopefully also have my January TBR up as soon as possible. I actually might just film it after this, or I might film edit and then film edit. I'm not 100% sure, but I am going to try to get it up within like a day of each other, because I know that it's the beginning of January and people are like, okay, well, what are we reading? I don't know how I want to do it though. Like, do I want to do TBR jar? Do I want to just pick books? I don't know. Feeling a little conflicted, so I have to decide that first too. But yeah, that was today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. First video of 2025. Very exciting. I think I'm also going to do a end of year tag for 2024. I know that technically it is already 2025, but I was very busy at the end of 2024, so we didn't really have time to do it then. But I think I might do it because I did the mid-year, so I might want to do the end, but I'm not sure. If you guys really, really want to see it, you guys can let me know down below. And if you guys really want to see it, I will do it. If you guys are kind of like, I don't really care, then I maybe won't do it. But yeah, that's what I have for you guys today. I hope that you guys are all having a great day and a wonderful break. I'll see you guys very soon. And yeah, hope you all are having a great day. Bye!